Hello out there, it's Wake Angel 2001, and this upload is coming up a few hours after the other ones because I got halfway through recording these reviews, then I had to leave the house, and now I'm back to record the rest of them. So this is the Sonic Prime 5-inch Shadow figure, which for some reason is Boss Cage Maze. No, Shadow's not from the Boss Cage Maze. In fact, it was a major plot point in the series that Shadow's not able to enter any of the Shatterverses except for Ghost Hill, the remnants of the original universe that he's from. So, he can either exist in the interspace between the Shatterverses, or he can go to Ghost Hill, but he can't go to the other universes, including Boss Cage. So, why isn't this Ghost Hill? Come on, we gotta have Ghost Hill. Ghost Hill is where we're gonna get the Super Prism Dr. Eggman, or the original versions of the characters from before the Shatterverses happened. Come on, I don't want that. So yeah, the packaging is pretty much the same as any of the others, just the same picture of Sonic up there with the prism energy. The back shows a nice glamour shot of Shadow, including the other 3 figures from the wave, which I already have and have reviewed. And then you have a description: with his distinct black and red colors, amazing speed, and raw power, Shadow the Hedgehog is not to be messed with. So yeah, basically it's exactly the same description you will put on any Shadow packaging. But Shadow in Sonic Prime is pretty much identical to Shadow from the video games, because he doesn't have any Shadowverse equivalents. But yeah, let's get him out of this packaging and take a look at good old Shadow the Hedgehog. Okay, and here is Shadow out of the packaging. Looking pretty good. He basically just looks like proper universe Shadow, but you can see in accordance with the styling of the animation from the show, there's some detail in his fur. So instead of just being a smooth black figure like the 4-inch figure is, this one has more texture to it. And I do believe this is the first time we've ever had a clean 5-inch scale Shadow the Hedgehog figure. Jazzwares did make Lancelot in this scale for the Sonic and the Black Knight line, but that's Shadow wearing medieval knight armor. Quick comparison: here is the New York Sonic. As you can see, they stand together very well. And let's get a quick little turnaround. You see Shadow, his stripes are all painted in properly. All the details are captured in. I like the shade of yellow they used on his shoes and glove cuffs. All the detailing in the bottom of his shoes is picked out. Although these don't really look like, if you look really closely, aside from the 2 peg holes, there's no texture put into the little jets on his hover shoes. They just look like a bunch of little black buttons on the bottom of his feet. But all your articulation is there. He has a head swivel and a little bit of up and down movement. Universal shoulders that go out, they go forward. He has that kind of Figma style thing where there is an elbow joint that's like a joint in between 2 cylinders. You can actually make his elbow bend slightly deeper by making sure his arms are lined up properly. Ball joints in his wrist. His right hand is kind of in a gesture, like that clenched finger gesture, like Urgh! So it looks kind of weird when you have it down by his side, but if you put it up in front of himself like this, then it's looking proper wrathful. I don't like the hips for these figures. They're kind of all over the place. And on this one in particular, that feel really tight and they don't want to rotate to the sides. It really makes a running pose awkward, and they can't sit. I don't know. The hips are the one weakness of these figures. For the most part, the articulation of these things is better than the 4-inch Jazzwares figures, Jax figures, but the hips are just the Jax figures have better hips for running poses and stuff. The knees get almost 90-degree bends, and there's ball jointed ankles. So you know, like weak hips aside, he can still pull off some really cool posing. Like you know, he can still maintain a flat-footed pose. It's just you gotta really kajigger and find out. Like you gotta mess around with those thigh swivels to make sure that the hips are lined up properly, so you can get him into a good stance. But yes, it can be done. So yeah, like, there's really not much to exposit about Shadow because he's Shadow the Hedgehog. He's one of the most popular characters in the franchise, and this is a really good figure. And because it's just like Prime Shadow, you don't have to, you know, like, he can easily go right into your display with any of your 5-inch Sonic figures. It's just that aside from Sonic and Classic Sonic made by Jazzwares, there aren't any other 5-inch Sonic figures that don't exist outside of this particular toy series. But you know what? It looks great with them. So yeah, I'm hoping we get a Prime Rouge, and I guess we could go for a Prime Sonic. Like, I want the Prime characters, like, from their original universe. Although there are some Shadowverse characters I really want. I want Rebel Rouge, and I would like the rest of the Chaos Council, but darn it, the thing I want most from this toy line is Prime Eggman, because that would give us a 6-inch tall Eggman figure that would look great next to the 4-inch tall proper line. That's all I really want from this line. Isn't that funny? Anyway, oh yeah, I think one of the closer ways that's going to be coming up next is going to have Chaos Sonic, which I'm going to call Chaos Metal Sonic so people know what I'm talking about. Really looking forward to that one. But now I'm just talking about stuff that I want this line to do instead of about the figure that this video is about, so let's end it here. This is Wake Angel 2001 signing off.